Hey everyone, Logan Hanes here from the Kentucky Manufactured Housing Institute, based here in Frankfort, Kentucky. On the Zoom here, we've got César from MH Sales Mastery. César, I'll let you introduce yourself, and if you don't care, just kind of tell us what MH Sales Mastery is.
Sure. Hey, appreciate it, Logan, first of all, for your time. My name's César Mascorro Jr., and yes, founder, president of MH Sales Mastery. And what MH Sales Mastery is, it's a industry-specific consulting and training company. We have, prior to starting the company in April of 2023, I spent a little over 15 years selling manufactured homes in Texas, sales, sales manager, general manager. And I decided to launch the MH Sales Mastery and leave retail sales to do this because one of the things that I noticed was that there was a piece missing in the retail model of training when it comes to sales consultants. I went through it myself when I got into the industry, and then even more so, I noticed it as a general manager. And what I mean by that, Logan, is the training, if you hire somebody new that comes into the industry, whether they've had experience or not, most of the time the training falls on the leader, whether it's the general manager, sales manager, whatever that role looks like on a retail center. Same thing within the community space, right? For community operators that may have to end up selling. That training, there's no really structured training that goes into place. They come in, you sit with them for a few hours, and then you kind of turn that salesperson over with a stack of leads and tell them, hey, call these people, let's get them in, right? Um, and that's not everywhere, but that is the common thing, and it's kind of a figure it out on the job training type of experience. And even when I went to a corporate retailer for the last 7 years of my career, even there where you do have a structured training program in place, the GM is the one who's responsible for carrying that out. But as a general manager, we really don't have the time to invest in a new sales consultant as much as they deserve to be invested in to learn everything. And so, as you may very well know, what ends up happening is a sales consultant will get started, and then, man, they don't, their career doesn't start off as well as it could, and they get frustrated, or they run up against major income hurdles because they're not making the money they could be making. And then we have that high turnover, right? And it just seems like we're always starting over. And so that's really the basis of our company, is to be able to alleviate that for retailers, community operators, and now this partnership that we have with MHI and the PHC program.
That's great. So perfect segue into that. So for our members, which we have 350 members or so, um, they've seen our newsletters that have gone out. They've seen our post about PHC. You've partnered with MHEI. What is it? Why the partnership, and what's the goals of the course?
Yeah, so we had the benefit, or I guess we had the luck, if you will, right, of having been able to have conversations with MHI, with Mark Bowersox and Ann and the whole group there, to discuss the PHC program itself. And one of the conversations that I had with them was things have changed.
Hmm.
Buyers have changed, right? Especially over the last 5 years since COVID happened. The way people operate is different. And when I say people, I'm talking about the buyers. They're thinking different. They're even better researched, and they're more prepared when they come in. And the old way of doing things just is not as effective as it was before.
Hmm.
And so one of the things that we spoke about was let's let's redo this program with based on the modern way of the buyer thinks and carries out their buying decisions. It used to be, I remember even when I was in business, it used to be where if you spoke to somebody on the phone, you were easily able to get them into the office to come and look at homes, and they really relied on you to educate them and inform them. And I'm not saying that's different now. We still have that same responsibility. But because that buyer, one, they're more skeptical. right? With everything that's going on now with AI and things of that nature, they don't know if they're speaking to a real human, if it's a chat bot or whatnot. So they're more skeptical. So they're less likely to agree to an appointment up front, right? So even the way we talk to them on the phone has to be different. And then when they do come in, a lot of them are very well informed as far as the product is concerned, but they have a lot more questions with regards to the financing, with regards to the actual warranty processes and things of that nature. What could they expect? And so now our role as a sales consultant is truly that of being a consultant. You used to be able to be a salesperson and just it was all price, right? And as long as it was the best price, fantastic. We're ready to go. But now people are really taking their time and making a decision to make sure they're partnering with the right people, the right company, and obviously that it fits in their budget. So we've got to operate differently. We have to speak different. We have to present ourselves different. So that's what this is all about. Being able to elevate our game and level up as an industry on the Salesforce side of it and help meet the buyers where they're at psychologically and in their expectations of the whole buying experience.
No, that's great. So certainly the educational component of the course is the greatest, fruit of the labor of attending this class, but you also get a certificate, right? So what do you see as the benefit of the certificate itself for someone in the industry?
Well, I the benefit for somebody in the industry is one may look at it and say, well, what's it going to do for me? Right. And granted, okay, if I got my sales consultant hat on, I may say the same thing. Well, it's a certificate. I get to put PHC after my name. Big deal. Big what, right? However, it's what it does for the buyer. Because what we have to understand is this. We've talked about this for decades, right? Our industry is in that 9 to 11% of market share. So if you really stop to think about it, that means that even before COVID, even before all these interest rate changes and whatnot, our market has always been 9 to 11% in somewhere in that range. So that buyer has always been there. And that buyer maybe doesn't really put that much weight on the fact of do you have PHC after your name? However, there is an opportunity for all of us across the country to now bring in a new buyer who maybe wasn't aware of beautiful cross miles like what's behind in your background or anything of other products that are available to them. In other words, that site build buyer who can't afford to buy a site built home anymore, who operates maybe a little, lives a different lifestyle. They are used to a different experience, right? And so for them, something like that carries weight. And so now you open the doors to a new market that's available to you. And now you being able to explain that, hey, you know what? Yes, I did go through a national industry course to get certified to be able to help you make a better decision. That does carry some weight if you use it properly, right? So it's not about just, okay, I'm a PHC. No, it's what does that mean, right? And so when you know what that means to you, which is I'm certified, I went through training, and I'm able to help you and answer your questions, not just in a professional manager manner, but overall to make sure you are comfortable with the decision. It makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, so many customers, especially when it comes to manufactured housing that haven't considered our industry in the past, look at our industry and go, wow, that's way different. And it is different than the site built world. And so I think a lot of people need that salesperson to also be a little bit of a liaison and a coordinator for that consumer to make the choices of, all right, am I going to rely on the retailer to provide or connect us to installation services? Are we going to do that? Help them get from A to Z. And so I definitely think that education and seeing that certificate hanging on the wall in a office can definitely provide comfort. And the other thing too, we were just at the Louisville show and we had a similar conversation there. It's amazing when you stick around this industry for a while. You see the same people in the industry, but occasionally you'll just see a different company logo on their shirt. And I think this is one of those things that it'd be pretty good on a resume too, right?
It,
as an
it,
individual.
yeah, no, you're definitely right. It does add a little bit to the value of the individual as well, right? And you bring up a great point there. Let's if we're going to be honest about this, which we always should be, right? Is there is a lot of high turnover. There is high turnover in our industry. Whether it's new sales consultants coming in because some of them just don't pan out, or like you mentioned, that guy who's been around 15, 20 years that's been at it's 3 or 4 different locations. If I put my owner hat on or my general manager hat on, the only reason I may lose somebody has to really do with the culture. And if you start to invest in your team and your team members and allow them the opportunity to go through certification courses like this, continue to help them improve as individuals, well, you're less likely to have that turnover. Right. So I look at it from a sales consultant standpoint. One, it's going to help me because I'm going to learn a new foundation. I'm going to learn updated uh, uh, sales processes and the way buyers are thinking. If I'm an owner or a general manager or a community operator owner, I'm thinking like this is going to help me create buy-in from my team members
Mhm.
because I'm investing in them and I'm helping them, and by the and then in turn it's going to help us increase business. It's going to help us increase revenues and profits because buyers are going to feel better. My team members are going to feel better and everybody wins.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So speaking of the team member component and building that skill set, we've got a lot of retailers and their team members signed up for this course already. And we've talked a lot about that even, just in this conversation. But, our industry as an umbrella is very unique in that so many of our folks deal directly with the consumer, right? A lot of our lenders will deal directly with that borrower, but a lot of times that same lender rep is also dealing with retailers or community owners, and they're having to put two different kinds of sales hats on. So talk kind of directly to, the lender reps, the factory reps, the parts suppliers, those types of folks that consumer sales is definitely a part of it, but really their bread and butter is kind of that B2B sales. Why should they take this course?
Well, the great thing about it is the to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right? I tell sales consultants all the time, put yourself in the position of the buyer. What would they want to know? What would they want to have you explain better to them, right? Well, the only way that I can do that is by going out and shopping for other things. I always tell them, hey, if you want to provide a better buying experience, why don't you go shop at a high-end store, shop at a great, at a high-end car auto dealership to get that perspective. Well, the same thing for the lenders and manufacturers and service providers when you're customer facing at times, the fact that you come through this course, now you see what the housing consultant has to go through, what they have, the information they're providing, and questions that customers are asking them, so that when you have that understanding, it makes it easier to be able to one to do a few things. One, the messaging is the same because that's something that I hear a lot when, well, the sales consultant told me this, but then when I spoke to the construction crew that came out to do my trim out, they told me something different, or the lender's asking me this when I thought it was that, right? So now we're all speaking the same language. And then at the same time, you can see where the holes may be in the relationship between sales and lending, manufacturing, and things of that nature. And now it helps us as an industry to fill those gaps. So that's where I see the benefit to lenders, manufacturing reps, service providers, everybody, from transport to everyone. There's a benefit to having taken this course, and we're all going to benefit from it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think too, there's probably, and I haven't gone through the course, but there's in a lot of ways, sales is sales, right? There's relationship building, there's building that comfort level with the customer, and that holds true whether it's a end consumer or a business. Every salesperson wants to feel equipped and knowledgeable about whatever that product is that they're selling, and I think this course can help achieve that. So.
No,
Um,
for sure.
so March 10th, here at the KMHI headquarters in Frankfort, Kentucky, it's going to be at 10 o'clock is the start time. It's going to go till about 6 o'clock. We're going to provide lunch. We'll have some snacks, and it's going to be a great time. To register, you can go to our website, kmhi.org, and click on that events tab and get registered there. Cesar, what else do you think someone should know about this course and why they should click that register button?
Two main things I want to leave you with. One, okay, I've been through I can't even think of how many different courses and sales trainings and conferences. And I can understand why somebody may be watching this right now and saying, "Man, really, do I really want to go to another thing and sit there all day and be bored out of my mind?" So I'm going to tell everybody, look, if you have never been through a course with us, it's completely different. With us, you're going to get energy. With us, you're going to get deeper perspectives. We're going to get interactive. We're going to have breakout sessions. We're going to do everything so that you make sure you leave with value. Even if it's one or two things that are going to change, we want to leave you with some actionable steps that you can go out and execute on immediately that are going to change the trajectory of what you're going. Look, I know a lot of you do great things and you do well, but this is something that even if you added an extra 2 to 3 families you're helping per month, what is that going to do financially for the company and for yourself and overall what you can accomplish? Plus, you're helping more families. So it's going to be a great time. You don't have to worry about that. Number two, this is not about saying we're not saying what you're doing is wrong. This is simply letting you know that there is another way that now is going to help you relate with that new buyer. Look, I'm in my 50s, right? And some of us may be out there saying, "Man, I don't understand these younger people. I don't understand these buyers have changed." Just like when we talk about other generations, buyers have changed and it is more difficult. It is more difficult to get them in the door. It is more difficult to get them to make decisions. I hear this when I travel across the country. And by being a part of this course, you're going to get those little nuances because that's what we're really focused on. From things to like how to better manage my day and the time management as a sales consultant, because that gets crazy, but also how to relate quicker and better with buyers so that they don't stonewall you, so that they don't ghost you, so that you're increasing your show rate, your pull through, and everything that's needed to be able to not just get by, but really thrive. Because we're in a position, the housing shortage, every one of you out there is in a position to really excel financially and benefit for yourselves and your loved ones, and we want you to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. I tell our industry folks all the time, the red carpet has been rolled out for us as an industry,
That's
but we
right.
have to walk on it. And so I
Yes, sir.
think taking this course will be one step to be able to do that. So again, March 10th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Frankfort, Kentucky. Go to kmhi.org to register. Caesar, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Look forward to it. We'll see you then.
See you.